Hey, you guys, I just wanted to give a few quick tips on people and recommending plans because I know a lot of us are so tied to the 5-in-1 that we forget that there's other options and other ways to lose weight with our program. So I just want to mention the 5-in-1, that's what I did because I just wanted results fast. I wanted it to be simple. My life was too chaotic and I didn't know how to eat right. So it really created that time for me to learn about condiments and just how to incorporate more veggies into my meals. Because for me, I don't really love vegetables. I do now, but I had to come up with these ways in creating these healthy meals. So I learned how to put spinach in my shakes to get rid of one of my greens that way. And then, but what I have been feeling really called about lately is that so many of us don't give our clients enough options. And I love to start everyone on the 5-in-1. Okay. Even if it's for a week, I'm like, hey, let's detox. Let's get rid of that excess sodium and maybe some of our cravings. Let's learn how to hydrate and not really have to think about a whole lot else except for that I'm fueling my body every 2 to 3 hours. I'm getting in lots of water, and I'm just going to create one healthy meal so that they can start to learn the balance of what that looks like for um, a healthy fat. So another thing it taught me is that I was just putting so much oil on my foods and things like cooking just differently. Now I cook with more water. I mean, a steamed broccoli with water tastes the same as steamed broccoli with oil. It really does. It's what you add to it, like the salt or the seasonings, that I think make the big difference in the flavor. So anyway, all of this to say, that's kind of what I like to start with. And I tell people, a lot of it's if someone's already a really good person that's exercising a lot, like the last thing I want to do is discourage that. Okay. So what I like to do is say, okay, well, would you be willing to scale it back a little bit? Or if it's a no, okay, well, let's talk about doing one of our higher calorie plans that's going to support that workout. Um, because I think a lot of people want to do the easy plan, the 5-in-1, and get the fast results, but they're not willing, but they still want their body to perform and do the things that they were doing already on less calories. And I have to tell them, like, no, give yourself the time to really create a sustainable something that's not going to put your body in starvation mode, because that's not healthy either. So a lot of times recommending a plan is really for me based off of like their activity level and their exercise. So if they're like, yeah, I could scale it back. I could do, on the 5-in-1, it's up to 45 minutes a day, light exercise, which is really, you need to be able to have a conversation and not be out of breath. Because anytime you're getting up into that cardio, you're burning more calories. And so this is just something it's going to help to coincide with that program. Okay. So again, I try to say, okay, let's just scale it back for a week and then we can go from there. So from there, a lot of times I'll take my clients to, if they want to ramp up their workouts and get a little bit more, um, I'll recommend the 4-in-2. So the 4-in-2 is still fat burn. It's really just replacing one of your fuelings with a lean and green. Another reason I recommend that one is if someone has a lot of allergies and so they just don't have a lot of range for fueling options. Or I recommend that if somebody is, they just really like want to be able to eat more food or real food, or not as big of a fan of processed items, which that's a whole nother thing. But it's funny when people talk about being afraid of packaged foods, when I'm like, when's the last time you ate a bag of Doritos or Cheetos? Were you afraid of that? Like, no. So these are nutrient dense, high protein meals that keep you full and satisfied for longer. So anyway, so the 4-in-2 is still fat burn because the fuelings have about 15 grams of carbs in them, as well as a lean and green. So you're really just swapping out one for the other. The third option is a 4-2-in-1, which is going to include, the one is your fruit, starch, or dairy. You get to pick one of those. and that is on our healthy exchange list. So I'm going to pull that up in a second and kind of talk about that. But that is not a fat burn plan. That is just a calorie deficit plan. That one's the one that we really recommend for people who want to have a little bit more of an intense workout. They're going to have more cardio. So that's a great plan for those people. And it's scientifically based. So many people get so worried about offering that plan because they think, well, I don't want someone to have to come up with 2 lean and greens, but I want to share just a couple of tips for ways around that, because I've done both plans, and the 4-2-1, it does take a little bit more effort as far as just planning. But a lot of times with that one, I just kind of stick with eating the same thing all week so that it's easy. And let's see, the last thing I want to mention is a 3 and 3. So I know we refer to this as our maintenance plan. However, anytime you want to lose weight, if you're in about a 500 calorie deficit, you can actually do our 3 and 3 and just pick one that's the 500 calorie deficit. So I just think that people need to know their options, right? Especially if someone has been on 5-1 for a while, they've had quite some success, but they're getting burnt out, or they're just ready for adding some more foods into their diet. So I just wanted to mention that doesn't mean that you aren't going to lose weight or that you can't, or that you should just stop program, but you need to switch up the plan. And as their health coach, we need to provide those options and share a little bit more about what that can look like. So that would require getting their TEE and filling that out. And then what we would do is just recommend we would go to a plan that has 200 calories less. I noticed there's a discrepancy there, and that is because the fuelings that we have, the select and essential, are 100 calorie meal replacements, okay? So on our maintenance plan, when they mention optimal fuelings as the 3, those are 200 calories. So we're gonna knock out 300 calories just by utilizing 3 of our fuelings. So that's why I said go to the 200 calories less once they give you their TEE. This way, you guys, they're able to incorporate all 4 food groups. They can have the optional free thing, which I'm going to show you the free choice. And so I just think that it's so important that we are not the fad diet people. That's not what this is. This like literally is the most beautiful program I have ever been on. So starting with something that is super easy for people who are just like, I have no time, no energy, and no real concept of how to eat healthy. Okay. That helped me. I thought I was eating healthy and I was willing to work out. I was working out 5 days a week, you guys, like hardcore workouts, and I was completely stuck and plateaued, but I thought I was eating fairly good. So this program taught me that it was all the extras. It was the condiments, and it was how I cooked my food, and it really taught me some major skills of changing little things that make a big difference. So I'm just passionate and kind of trying to get people to understand that we're not 5-1 people. Like, we have lots of plans, we have lots of options that we can give people to do what's right for them and to meet them where they're at. So real quick, I'm just going to share my screen because I want to show you guys this. Let's see if I can find it. Right here. Okay. On the lean and green, something I know people get really intimidated is having to make 2. So if you look under the meatless options, you can easily have somebody having one of their meals as breakfast, like 2 scrambled eggs for breakfast. You do like a cup of spinach, so that's 1 green out of the way and 2/3 of your lean, right? So then let me show you here. As far as that goes, I encourage people, I don't want to confuse anyone, but looking at the other meatless options are cottage cheese and Greek yogurt, especially for people who are going to do the 4 and 2. I would absolutely recommend them using some of those because it's so easy to get your protein in. And it's really easy items to split up into two different things so that you're able to have um, like a half a cup, even half a cup of cottage cheese. I put it in the penne pasta and mix it up and makes it creamy. So a lot of people don't like cottage cheese, but if you put it in there, it just makes it creamy and delicious and you're adding protein. That's a really easy way to get in some of that protein and not have to cook or make a full lean and green, right? So really utilize those options. The Greek yogurt is awesome as well. Doing like 6 ounces of that, mix in, you can mix in one of our Optavia Fueling, the bars to make a little parfait. That's a really great option and very filling. I love to do that after a workout. And then one thing I like to do is our oatmeal and make overnight oats with almond milk and put in a serving of fruit in that. And that is, a really satisfying breakfast as well. So I just want people to realize like we are not just trying to like eat packaged food all the time. There's lots of other options and programs out there. And then as far as the green goes, like I said, 15 grams of carbs. On the 5-in-1, we're doing about anywhere from 80 to 100 grams of carbs a day. So the 4-in-2 is actually just swapping that out for a fueling and a lean and green instead of a fueling. So just so you kind of know that. And then on our healthy exchange list. So when I talk about the 4-2-in-1, the 1 is a fruit, starch, or dairy. It's not the protein, just so y'all know, but when you're doing a maintenance plan on our 3-in-3, these are all 100 calorie option snacks. So usually you want to pick 2 of these things to make your one of your 6 meals throughout the day of having about a 200 calorie snack. So like I said, the optimal fuelings that we have are about 200 calories. So I didn't know that. And when I went into maintenance, I lost another 5 pounds when I wasn't trying to, because I didn't realize that I was still utilizing our Essential Select fuelings because they're only 100 calories. And so now what I'll do is I'll take one of our fuelings, like the peanut butter crunch, and I'll add a half of a banana to it. And that makes a really nice, yummy 200 calorie snack meal for me. So same thing, you could do berries with one of the fuelings. You can, sometimes I'll do berries in one of our shakes. I'll just add a frozen chunk of the berries and blend it. So, and then I'll also add a cup of spinach so that I'm getting a veggie as well. Again, I just don't love veggies. I like them more now, but that really helped me to just have a way to hide stuff in. And now I do that for my kids. I'm hiding veggies in all of the things, especially like ground beef. I'll chop up really small, dice up bell peppers, and they don't even know they're eating them. So just wanted to kind of give you guys this a little bit, if we zoom out just a little bit and really treat people, meet them where they are, really find the plan that makes the most sense for them. And if someone's burnt out on 5-in-1, be able to have these other options like, hey, what is it that you're missing? Because some people are like, I just want to have some carbs. I just want some bread. Well, what about switching to the 4-2-in-1 or even transitioning and getting on a maintenance plan? And just like, let's stay super connected though. Let's really come up with what that looks like for you. So I think my biggest thing lately is just feeling like people don't really understand that this is not just a fad diet, and that it really is meant to create those habits for longevity, and that the fuelings were not meant to be a hindrance or a crutch for people forever, because what we're trying to do is empower people and let them know how to eat whole foods and vegetables. And I think that a lot of people miss the boat, even us as coaches. I know when I first began, I got in a 5-in-1 prison of every time I ate off plan, I just like got back on the 5-in-1 because I just thought, I'm gonna gain this all back. But what I've realized is if, now I can control my weight with food, and I work out as a leisure, as a thing for mental health. 3 days a week. That keeps me really happy, and I'm in a really good zone and balance with everything. So instead of outrunning my fork, now I have created healthy meals, and and I'm not perfect all the time, but I don't want to be someone who's um, continuing to just diet all the time. So I hope this helps you guys to just kind of come up with a little bit more of a some options for your clients and really just reiterate how amazing this program is and what it's really designed for. So if you have more questions, reach out to me. But I think that's all I wanted to share for today. All right, bye.